Hello, people of PLV. We are here to interview a special person. But before that, the topic of the interview is, of course, about what is happening in our country today, which is the pandemic. We all know that since the pandemic entered our country, a lot has changed, or should I say, everything changed. One of the changes that happened is in our education, where a lot of teachers and students struggles on the new normal that has been implemented. So today, we invited a special guest on our interview segment entitled Struggles and Coping Ways of a Teacher During Pandemic. She is an English teacher at Mesa National High School for 8 years. Let us welcome Miss Rona Erika Claud.
Hi.
Hello, Miss Claude. Welcome to the segment. How are you today?
Well, I feel so good. Thank you for
Oh,
having me here.
and thank you so much, Sue. So I have here some few questions that you need to answer. And let's start. So first, how was your life before the pandemic?
Okay, my pre-pandemic life is fun, it's exciting, and it's hopeful. Well, I could say that's fun because I started my 2020 with my college friends, and these are my treasured people. So I was so happy to be with them. And it was exciting because I get to fulfill one goal. And it was hopeful because I was working on my thesis for my master's degree. So that's all.
Oh, that's nice. And how about how about now that the a virus has entered on our country? What was your reaction when there was an announcement that a virus called COVID-19 entered our country?
Well, I was so anxious. I was so anxious because there's this high level of uncertainty that runs through my mind. Like, I really don't know what's going to happen. How will this end? Or I don't know what's going on. So I was one of those people panic buying in the grocery. So I was so anxious at that time.
So right now that the pandemic is still ongoing, does anything change on your lifestyle?
Well, this pandemic made me realize a lot of things, and these realizations lead to some changes in my life. Like, for example, before I was just this person who's focused on just one goal. But during this pandemic, I started to realize, or it made me realize that uh, I shouldn't stop learning. Like, I have a lot of free time. Like, after work, I still have this free time. So what am I going to do with this free time? I think I should invest time with improving myself. So I get to read books. I get to learn more about the things that interests me. So that's the major change in my lifestyle during the pandemic.
Oh, okay, I see. And how do you cope up with the stress of being inside the house for almost 2 years and not be able to do the things that you loved to do before?
Well, I find new things to love.
And what is
Yeah.
that?
So yeah, before I was this outgoing person. I love to hang out with my friends, but now since I cannot go outside and meet a lot of people because of the pandemic, I was able to turn this time into reading books or learning new things. No, not necessarily reading books. I also watch YouTube videos about the things that I wanted to learn, like, for example, stock market, investing, something like that, which I wasn't able to do before because I was solely focused on my work. So that's in connection with the lifestyle change that I have mentioning earlier. So that's it. I find new things to love.
Okay, so now let's talk about your teaching life. And about your teaching life, why do you choose teaching other than other professions?
Okay. It was kind of funny because I don't have a deep answer for that because I started liking teaching when I was a child and I also didn't know why. I just know that this is something that I'd love to do. I love talking to people, especially in English, because I tend to copy my teachers. I tend to mimic them when they are teaching in English. So that's how I started liking teaching. There's actually no deep realization or connection with that.
Okay, I see. Now that we are in a pandemic era, how does the new normal teaching style affect you as a teacher?
Well, when it comes to teaching style, I think there's not much on that because the way I prepare and study my lessons during the face to face classes is just the same with how I prepare during the online class. It's just that I have to double check the gadget, the camera, the microphone, the internet connection. I have to make sure that it's stable so that I could have my classes so that I could have my classes.
Okay, yes. And another question here is what are your struggles as an online teacher, especially when you are teaching your students or doing your requirements that you need to submit to your higher ups?
Basically, it's the internet connection, and it's beyond my control.
Okay, so now how do you cope up with the struggle that you are experiencing as a teacher today?
So, like I've said, it's the internet connection that concerns me most during these online classes. So, and sadly, it's beyond my control. What I do is that I look for activities to send to my students so that they could work on it offline. So that's how I deal with the struggles with the internet connection.
Oh, okay. And for the last question that we have, how would you encourage other teachers like you to keep their track as a teacher, especially now as new normal is in and face-to-face classes is still out of sight?
I would have to say to take care of yourselves. Like if you feel tired, I think it would not hurt you or your boss to pause for a while and then get back to work after. Okay, so we have to listen to ourselves. Like if we're tired, you have to pause for a while because after all, you wouldn't be productive if you feel exhausted. So basically, this is from my experience. Okay, because sometimes since there's a big change and a big shift in the education right now, there comes this unexpected tasks and stuff like that. So you have to pause, okay, and get back to work.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And just like what my former professor said that we should take rest in between of our works that we are doing. Okay, and so
Yeah.
that was it. And that was Miss Claude from my National High School. Thank you so much for your time and participation on our episode, Miss Claude. And I hope
It's
to
my
see you.
pleasure.
Thank you. And I hope that I will see you soon once the virus is gone. But keep safe and healthy because the pandemic is still inside our country and inside the world. And to our dear viewers there, people of PLV, I hope you have a good night and see you on our next episode. Adios.